It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast on this, the 10th day of October, 2023. Coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, Central Virginia area. Got several stories this morning. Not a great deal of in-depth stuff, but still a number of things. The lead story today, Carnival ship begins multi-million-dollar enhancement. Savannah bananas to sail. Bar Harbor extends their cap. India Sri Lanka ferry service gets started. Epic's value-added tax. Radiance of the Seas itinerary changes. Celebrity Epic cancels Israel and Egypt cruise. Carnival Panorama joins Miracle in port changes. That and a lot more here this morning, including, of course, a weather update. Today, folks, is National Angel Food Cake Day. Not my favorite, but I mean, I don't dislike it or anything. I'm not much of a cake person. But yeah, today's Angel Food Cake Day. I don't dislike it. I just never order it. So, have some angel food cake today, folks. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. We do this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, here at 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Another couple weeks will go to Eastern Standard Time. Then, of course, if there's anything major on the weekends, I'll jump in and take care of that. Then, of course, travel days. There's occasions that I have to cancel the show. There's days that I do the show early. There's days sometimes that I pre-tape the show early and play it back at 11. But I try to be here at 11 o'clock every day just to bring you up with the latest in the news in our travel and cruising world. So, when I normally try to have a lot of pictures loaded up, but it's been a pretty busy morning this morning. By the way, folks, I just got off the phone with the mobility folks in Salem, where I've ordered my lift for my new C2 power chair. It was shipped as of early this morning. It was someplace in Georgia. So it should be in this evening in Salem or tomorrow at the latest. So one afternoon, whenever I can get an appointment now, I'll run up to Salem to get the lift installed. And that's going to enable me to start using the Will C2 chair. And of course, my plans are to take that chair on my next cruise, which is on the 25th, as I'll be flying up to JFK and getting on the MSC Meraviglia. Looking forward to that. All right, a couple things to touch base with. One, I heard from Ela on location today. She is in Trieste, Italy. She is doing an overnight there, and she said she'll get out today, which is tomorrow over there, and do some filming for me. And this is real honest to God marinara sauce, the real McCoy. And this is Trieste. So, always good to hear from Elizabeth on location. I did get this morning another video from our friend Joy Reese, who is in Israel. She's still in Jerusalem. However, they are packing up this evening and leaving to go to Egypt for the Egypt portion of the tour. So she'll actually be getting out of Israel. It'll be interesting to see if they have problems in Egypt as well. But anyway, she says she's felt totally safe. And that's surprising. I'll look for the day when we can really talk to Joy. I can arrange an interview and really talk to her. She's fallen in love with the tour over there. But I don't know. I'm not sure I'd feel very comfortable if I was in Israel right now. All right, so I'm glad she's safe. Glad she's enjoying herself. That part is outstanding. All right, in the way of weather, we got to knock that out first thing today. Again, the Atlantic has not changed much at all since yesterday. Broad area of low pressure located several hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands continues to produce a large area of showers and thunderstorms. The activity has changed little in organization since yesterday. However, environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development. Tropical depression is likely to form today or tomorrow while the system moves west-northwestward. 70% chance of further formation in the next 48 hours, 80% chance over the next 7 days. Then over closer to us in the southwestern Gulf is a small area of low pressure over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, continues to produce an area of disorganized cloudiness and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear only marginally favorable for any additional development. While the systems move slowly northward, the low was forecast to merge with the frontal system over the western Gulf by tomorrow. Regardless of tropical cyclone development, the system is forecast to produce gale force winds over portions of the northern Gulf by Wednesday. Formation is low, 20% over the next 48 hours, 20% over the next 7 days. We got some good news and some bad news on the Pacific. First, the good news, Max became a hurricane. And strengthened a little as it neared the coast. But it probably is producing flash flooding and mudslides. Currently, it's about 60 miles south of Zihuatanejo. The winds have dropped down to 50. Present movement is to the north at 6. Pressure is up to 998 now. Max should move further inland over southern Mexico, and it will probably start rapidly weakening by this evening. It's probably going to dissipate over Mexico today. Now, we talked yesterday about Lidia. Lidia is strengthening as it approaches west central Mexico. Hurricane force winds and flooding are expected to begin this afternoon. It's about 270 miles southwest of Las Islas Marias, about 295 miles west-southwest of Puerto Vallarta. Currently, sustained winds are 85 miles an hour. It's moving east-northeast at 12. Pressure's 977 millibars. The center of Lidia should approach the west-central coast of Mexico within the hurricane warning area this afternoon and move inland over west-central Mexico later this evening or tonight. Maximum sustained winds have increased to 85. Additional strengthening is forecast today as Lidia approaches the west-central coast. Then rapid weakening is expecting after Lidia moves inland. There's a good possibility that both storms could be gone by tomorrow, as they're going to drop in strength in a big hurry. All right, that takes care of the weather. I'll be back with a look at the news after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. All right, the top story today comes from Carnival. Carnival Freedom entered dry dock at Navantia Shipyard in Cadiz, Spain for routine maintenance and for new enhancements to the cruise ship. The biggest addition to the ship will be the new Carnival funnel that's being constructed at the shipyard. The cruise ship lost its iconic funnel last summer after it caught on fire while docked in Grand Turk. It has been sailing without the funnel ever since. In addition to the new funnel, Carnival Freedom will receive a new decking on outside decks, a Heroes Tribute Bar, and other enhancements. Heroes Tribute Bar is found on many Carnival ships and is a salute to veterans and active service members. The cruise ship is scheduled to return to service on October 23rd. A 2-week cruise from Barcelona to Port Canaveral will welcome her back on the seas. Once in Port Canaveral, Carnival Freedom will begin sailing 4 and night cruises to the Eastern Caribbean and the Bahamas. In service since March 2007, Freedom is the last of the Conquest class ships, and she is scheduled to home port in Port Canaveral at least through April of 2026. Okay. The Savannah Bananas, we talked about them the other day, are the greatest show in sports, offering entertaining game of baseball. For the first time, it's now in a cruise partnership with Sixth Man. The cruise will depart from Miami on October the 14th on wait a minute, I lost my place there. On a 4-night cruise to the Bahamas from Miami. The cruise will take place on the Norwegian Jade and feature 2 port stops, Nassau and Norwegian Cruise Line's private island, Great Stirrup Key. The immersive experience will feature an array of activities, including banana ball tricks, banana tossing, break dancing, and other fun-filled hijinks. Okay. Bar Harbor's still at it, folks. Starting in 2024, Bar Harbor will cap the daily disembarkation of passengers and crew at 1,000 individuals, making a substantial reduction from the current average of approximately 3,000 daily visitors to the port. As a result, cruise vessels operating in the region may explore alternative routes to avoid those restrictions. The decision to impose those limitations stemmed from petitions submitted by local residents, with over half of them expressing negative sentiments about the impact of cruise tourism on their community. All right. The much anticipated passenger ferry service connecting India and Sri Lanka is poised to commence today, marking a significant event that has been in development for over a decade. This initiative comes to fruition as a result of a memorandum of understanding signed between the two nations in a collaborative endeavor. The Shipping Corporation of India in Mumbai, with support from the High Commission of India and Ministry of Port Shipping and Aviation, is introducing this new passenger service that links South India with the northern part of Sri Lanka. The ferry route will run from Nagapattinam in India to a port, Itinerary, in Jaffna and vice versa. The selected vessel for this route is the high-speed craft Chillie Falls. Not 100% sure on the pronunciation of any of those. Norwegian Cruise Line has changed its tax payment protocols on board for guests sailing through European waters, at least for one cruise ship, the Norwegian Epic. The changes primarily focus on value-added tax levied on purchases made during the voyage through pre-purchased beverage packages and the purchases through pre-packaged specialty dining. This is much in line with the same procedures used in the U.S. Radiance of the Sea has had 3 changes for the current cruise, and the ship has only been underway for 2 days on a 16-night voyage. Royal Caribbean International's Radiance of the Seas is currently sailing a 16-night one-way repositioning cruise after the end of the Alaska sailing season, but this one cruise has been impacted by multiple factors, causing delays, port cancellations, and port time changes. On Saturday, October 7th, the departure of Radiance of the Seas from San Diego got off to a slow start as fog delayed the vessel's arrival into port. Guests embarking on the vessel were asked to shift their arrival to the cruise terminal 1 hour later than originally planned. Fog often causes delays at some cruise port when low visibility makes channel navigation or docking operations unsafe. This is particularly common in San Diego, Galveston, and Tampa, though any port can have temporary delays from poor visibility. The second issue for Radiance of the Sea's current sailing was a necessary adjustment for the visit to Punta Arenas, Costa Rica, which was planned for Saturday, October the 14th. Initially, the ship was scheduled in port from 12 p.m. until 10 p.m., but guests were notified on board that local tidal conditions required an earlier arrival, and the ship will now be in port from 8 a.m., 4 hours earlier than the original schedule. The 10 p.m. departure time remains unchanged. That gives the guests a little more time in Punta Arenas. As guests set sail on the ship, they quickly learned a third issue, a port call cancellation due to the influence of Tropical Storm Lydia. Rough seas expected in Cabo San Lucas early in the week made it necessary to cancel Radiance of the Sea's visit to the Mexican destination, which had been planned as an overnight call from 11 a.m. on yesterday, until 2 p.m. today. Instead, the ship will now be enjoying those days at sea. This means during the 16-night cruise, the first 6 days of sailing are all at sea as Radiance of the Sea heads for Costa Rica. Due to Tropical Storm Lydia, which is forecast to become a hurricane, guests on board Carnival Panorama are not having the cruise itinerary they originally booked. The ship's Mexican Riviera itinerary has been drastically altered, with one port canceled, others rearranged to avoid the worst weather and provide the safest, smoothest sailing. Due to Hurricane Lydia, the ship is unable to maintain the original itinerary, and here are a list of the changes. First of all, the call yesterday in Cabo San Lucas was canceled. Instead, the revised itinerary is that the ship will remain at sea yesterday and will visit La Paz today and Mazatlan tomorrow. The visit to Cabo has been moved to Thursday, and since they now have canceled Puerto Vallarta, a second day has been added to Cabo on Friday. So that itinerary is totally upside down due to Hurricane Lydia. All right, let's go back to the Apex. Sorry about the audio when I went through that before, but the Celebrity Apex, due to escalating tensions and dangerous situations in two different countries, Celebrity Cruises has dramatically altered the next sailing of Celebrity Apex to ensure a safer experience to everyone on board. This means the ship will no longer be visiting either Israel or Egypt as originally scheduled, but guests do have cancellation options because of the drastic changes. The new itinerary will visit Greece, Cyprus, and Turkey instead, or you can get your money back. So that's the changes on Celebrity Apex. All right. That's going to wrap up the news portion of today's show. Let's go see who's fussing at me in the chat room today. Hot Air's here. Nikki's with us. Hi, Nikki. Joanne's here. Joanne will take all the cake. Okay, that's all right. You can have it. Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. I was just thinking about you this morning, Sonny. Nikki agrees with Joanne on the cake. Steve's with us out in Kentucky. Gretchen's with us in Ohio. Good morning, Gretchen. I hope you're back to normal, Gretchen. Mike's here. Gary Older the Dirt's with us. Gary, good to see you again. Kenneth's with us up in Pennsylvania. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Eddie says, good morning, y'all. Lydia has been around a while. She sure has. And that one took a complete 180. It was heading west and just turned around and headed right back bearing down on Mexico. Thankfully, I mean, it's gonna land at hurricane strength today, but it's gonna break up almost immediately. So probably be gone tomorrow. Emily's with us. Good morning, Emily. Katie's here. Of course, Katie's back to teaching again. Been teaching now for quite a little bit here. Kenneth asked Tom, on the Norwegian Epic cruise ship, what's the difference between the suite and the balcony? Is it just the bathtub? I think there's a difference in size, but Hot Air would be better to answer that one than I am. I've never been on Epic. Of course, I'm going to be on it now like 4 times in the next year. So, Eddie says he's ready for a nap. Emily says Eddie's on the tube a lot. Yes, he is. Hot Air does not know the difference. We'll have to see on the cruise. Suites have a bathtub? Question mark. Yeah, usually they do. Isn't the value-added tax over in the Mediterranean now being charged even while sailing, not just in ports? There seems to be some confusion on that, Sonny. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to be done just like it's being done here. And that is when you're in port, you got to pay the tax. Once you get to international waters, you don't. The biggest difference in that was when we sailed out of New Orleans, we had to pay tax until we were all the way down the Mississippi, and into the Gulf to international waters is when the tax was not charged. So actually, they're just doing that in Europe now because they hadn't been. Was one of the strengths of the Passion for Cruises Europe, Norwegian cruises. They didn't have to mess with that. Well, now they're going to have to start messing with that. Hot Air says suites get a butler in space. I'm not sure how the bathroom setup is. Okay. I knew there was a more specific answer from Hot Air Tom on that one. Robert Lamb is here. Good morning, Robert. How you doing? Kenneth says he was thinking about upgrading. What does the butler service do? Never had one. Well, for Hot Air Tom, probably everything. You know, I did meet the butler on which cruise was that? One of the cruises they had a butler, and I went up to the room. That might have been on. Was that on Norwegian Sky? I can't remember. I guess it was. But anyway, yeah, the butler service it's just a more regular visiting housekeeping staff. So, and they'll do things like make sure you get off the ship easily. And they do a little more than just housekeeping stuff. Butler chats with Cindy while I'm off on excursions. Yeah, that happens too. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, this is my Tuesday meeting with the Passion for Cruises USA folks to see what we've got in the way of offerings for the week. So that'll be on the show tomorrow at 12 noon on the Cruise Deal Show for Passion for Cruises USA. Also, I'm going to do a show on Friday at 6 o'clock my time, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, for any of the folks that are either booked on or interested in the two hosted solo cruises, both the December 2nd one and the January 28th one. I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be doing as far as hosting the cruises, a little bit about what's not comes with the hosting thing, because there seems to be some confusion from some of the people on some of these people thinks I must be an employee of Passion for Cruises US, which I'm not. I mean, I don't have the time to spend 8 hours a day, for months in advance hosting the cruise. That's not going to happen. I don't make any money on it. So, I have other things to do. But anyway, we're going to talk about that some too, to clarify the air with a couple of people that seem to think that, I can do anything at any time. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Glad you all were with me. Had a nice little group today. I always appreciate that. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the channel out a lot. The bell notification will let you know when I go live or when a new video is posted. I try to do a lot of that every day. As again, I hope to hit 5,000 subscribers by 3:30 this afternoon. Okay. And if you believe that, I got some land in Florida I'd love to sell you. That's going to do it for today, folks. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time, same channel. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up before we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.